Jaipur in the December of 2021 to now writing an op-ed on Hinduism. Rahul Gandhi has many a time since 2014 tried to burnish his Hindu credentials. Now, will these interventions in the countless temple visits to claim of studying the Upanishads and also the Gita during the Bharat Jodo Yatra, will all of this help Rahul? Because he has decided to try to tackle the BJP's messaging on political Hindutva with all of these enunciations. Now, back then, in Rajasthan, in 2021, he had drawn a distinction between Hinduism as a benign and inclusive religion and Hindutva as a militant and exclusive political ideology. Now, today, he says, Hinduism is quote-unquote how we mitigate and understand our relationship with our fears, taking a near spiritual stand on it. The timing, though, hasn't gone unnoticed by his political rivals. The counterattacks by the Bharatiya Janata Party have been on the lines of how those whose life and politics is based on insulting Hindus today are preaching Hinduism, reducing it to an obnoxious meme. Gandhi's exposition of Hindu Dharma, remember, however, comes at a time when the Congress and the India alliance are facing scathing criticism from Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the BJP over DMK leader Udaynidhi Stalin's observation on Sanatan Dharma. Modi has since then repeatedly accused the Congress party of trying to eradicate Sanatan Dharma. So Gandhi, through his piece, pretty much accuses the Bharatiya Janata Party and in turn the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh of trying to drill a sense of victimhood into the minds of the Hindus. And rather than listening to the voices of the people, he feels that Prime Minister Narendra Modi behaves like a fountainhead of all knowledge. But in that process, has he walked right into what clearly is one of BJP's strongest suits? Or will he still attempt at fighting what many feel is a losing battle of who's the bigger Hindu in this poll season? And in turn, authenticate BJP's Chunavi Hindu nomenclature. Now, before we delve into all of those questions, let's first break down point by point on what has Rahul Gandhi written, where he is saying, why am I a Hindu? And what is his spiritual position on this? Let's take a look at the point. First of all, he goes on to say that Hindu is not a victim. That victimhood card that has been so far played by the Bharatiya Janata Party that he's accusing them of, he's saying Hindu is not a victim. Then he goes on to say, and one thing is very, very apparent in his op-ed, that he's choosing to address Hindu as she. And that is the underlying point that he's making after the women's reservation bill. That's something which is a clear political messaging also that can be looked at. So he goes on to say that Hindu doesn't make her fear a vehicle for anger, hatred or violence. Again, taking that accusatory stance against the BJP by saying that. Next point that he goes on to make is that a Hindu is humble and is always ready to listen and learn, not willing to only go ahead and make his or her point. Next point, to call Hinduism a set of cultural norms is misunderstanding of the Hindu religion. So that's his essential take on that. He further goes on to say that to bind Hinduism to a particular nation or geography is to limit it. Hinduism is much more than that. Remember, he has used that entire metaphor of an ocean when he has written that op-ed. Further goes on to say that Hinduism is how we mitigate and understand our relation with fears. The point that I made earlier, he's also said that if you're fearful of something, you need to balance it out and not go onto a pouncing spree. Then he goes on to also claim through that, these are basically the 5 pointers that he has basically written as far as that op-ed is concerned. What exactly has this article done and what are we looking at? Apart this article is also something that we'd want to jog your memory through, because Rahul Gandhi has for some years now been trying to consistently engage with Hinduism. Now remember, the innocuous observations such as he's found that the Congress's electoral symbol, the hand image, has an amalgamation of Lord Shiva, Guru Nanak, Buddha, Mahavira, also Hazrat Ali. So Gandhi has been trying to address religion, which is one of the central themes of the post-2014 India. So let's take a look at how has he fared while doing that so far. So let's take a look at the soft Hindutva push that he's been accused of for some time now. If we take a look at what happened in 2017, Rahul Gandhi in fact called himself Janevdhari Hindu. That is one aspect that the BJP constantly goes back to and makes an accusation against Rahul Gandhi by calling him how he is just a Chunavi Hindu. He only does that during the election season. What was the impact of that statement? Congress won 7 seats out of 114 in the state of Uttar Pradesh, and that happened during the election polls. No impact, nothing worked in Rahul Gandhi's favor despite this statement. If we go down to 2018, Rahul Gandhi called himself a Shiv Bhakt and Kashmiri Brahmin. The impact of it is that Congress won just 52 seats in the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. If we go further up and take a look at what happened in 2022 after the big elections, Rahul Gandhi in fact performed puja at the Kashi Vishwanath Temple, Narendra Modi Bastion, Varanasi. The impact was that Congress contested on 319 seats but won just 2 of those. That was how badly the Congress had performed back then, and the state of UP was completely lost on the Congress party. So what we're doing is asking today that Rahul Gandhi's Hinduism pitch, is it really advantage Bharatiya Janata Party? Joining me on Plain Speak this evening on our first debate is Siddharth Yadav of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Dolly Sharma of the Congress Party. Also with us is Mr. Javed Ansari, senior journalist, and with me in the studio is Professor Sangeet Ragi, who's a political analyst. Let me actually first begin with Dolly Sharma. Dolly, the reason that Rahul Gandhi has written the op-ed and the reason why he is receiving these kind of accusations of being the Chunavi Hindu has happened to him in the past as well, and yet it does not deter him from taking a sort of spiritual posturing on Hinduism, the religion. What makes him do that?
See, Satyam Shivam Sundaram. What a beautiful way to explain what Hinduism is all about. And very, very beautifully, Rahul Gandhi ji has explained that Hinduism is actually a way of life. There is love, connection, and immense happiness in the ocean, but there is also fear. Fear of death, hunger, failure, loss, as well as fear of pain. And the one who overcomes, is powerful enough to overcome all the fears is a Hindu.
Okay.
And I don't know why BJP is behaving like that. BJP actually thinks and behaves as if they are, the thekedars of Hindu. But actually it is not. How beautifully Rahul ji has explained, Hindu is a way of life. So this is what Rahul Gandhi just said. Why they are creating unnecessarily chaos out of it.
Okay.
There's nothing they should, make. Actually, BJP needs something or the other to create chaos. And this is also one thing that they've come up with.
Okay.
And also, ma'am, Griha ji, you were telling us that here Congress lost, here Congress lost. Himachal we won, and there is 95.17% of Hindu population.
No, Dolly, what I did was only juxtapose the times that Rahul Gandhi has specifically made a statement. No, Dolly, I would like to reiterate here. When Rahul Gandhi had specifically made a statement, actually making him akin to the Hindu religion, and that also was a lot of controversy in these 3 instances that I actually noted out for our viewers. And one must also talk about how Mr. Antony had in fact advised the Congress party that just minority appeasement, sorry to use the word, is not really suiting the political party. They need to do something about the majority religion, the majority faith in the country also. I believe that will also be coming up in the course of this debate. But Mr. Siddhant Yadav, there was an accusation against the Bharatiya Janata Party. It continues. You'd like to respond to what Dolly said?
Absolutely, Griha. I think Madam Dolly is coming from a very good place, but she's unable to understand what the real issue is. It is surprising for the nation when Rahul Gandhi comes out and writes an article, or I don't know who writes it for him, but it's published under his name.
Yeah.
And he writes about Hinduism after months when Sanatan Dharma was abused by his allies, son of a chief minister, the constitutionally oath-taken minister of a state. And he does not write even a word. He does not express anything over the anguish. The title is very good, Satyam Shivam Sundaram. We all know we don't need Rahul Gandhi to explain this or any election Hindu to come out and explain this. But if he is explaining Satyam Shivam Sundaram, what has happened to the dengue, malaria, HIV and other diseases that the Sanatan Dharma in Hindu is called? And he is very conveniently ready to go into elections with those allies. He is very conveniently ready to sit in meetings, have a cup of tea, have some biscuits, discuss everything, but not utter a word. This is surprising. But when he spoke, when I was reading the article in the first instance, I was a little... Dolly, I did not interrupt.
Look at your double standards.
Let him complete his point
Dolly,
and
I
you
did
can
not
come
interrupt.
in. I will give you
Please.
time to interject. You can make your points, make note of them, but please do not speak over the other speaker.
Yes, please don't get agitated. Truth is sometimes very bitter. But Grihaji, when I was reading the article, I was a bit scared because I thought Rahul Gandhi is writing about Sanatan or Hindu. He might just abuse it. But then I remembered, and as you rightly said, that this is the election year. And definitely in the election year, Rahul Gandhi is a cutter Hindu. Because someone has told him, especially after 2014, that the appeasement politics won't work in this country. This country is now based on very strong civilizational
But
values.
Mr. Yadav, I'd
and
still
have to
request you to
stand.
not actually base my introduction and going in a certain direction. That's not what it is meant to do. Let me actually bring in Mr. Ansari
No, I'm
also
not-
on this
I'm
because
not-
I
I'm
really
not
want to
doing that, Griha.
understand.
I'm
I really want to understand.
pointing
Siddharth.
out an example
Okay.
that you quoted.
Yeah.
And I'm quoting that
And that
example
is what
myself,
we
it's
are
not
putting
you,
up
it's
for
me.
debate, whether it is deliberately happening during the election season or for that matter, it has happened right ahead of Gandhi Jayanti today because he wrote that op-ed on the 1st of October leading up to the Gandhi Jayanti. So when it is about the lineage or from the political lineage that he comes from, the Gandhi-Nehru family, when a Mahatma Gandhi has in the past made a sort of political posturing, or even when he has been spiritual in writing things about the dharma or the Hindu dharma, even when Jawaharlal Nehru has written it, there was no such furor. Do you think it was not because it was not suiting the political posturing of the Bharatiya Janata Party back then or the opposition back then when the Congress was in power? Why such a furor when Rahul Gandhi does it? Why do you think, Mr. Ansari, that happens?
Yeah, because religion then did not occupy the political center stage that it occupies now. I wanted to make a point. You had mentioned something about the Antony report.
Yes.
The Antony Committee report suggested that the Congress must make efforts, that the BJP has successfully tried to portray the Congress party as a party of the minorities. The Congress must make effort to try and undo that impression. He did not use the word appeasement or that it should not only follow minority appeasement. That's a fact.
Okay.
Now, as far as why is Rahul Gandhi doing it, obviously he wants to counter the BJP's propaganda against him. He wants to blunt the BJP's attack on the question of religion. You can't be more Hindu than the BJP, but you can certainly blunt that criticism that Rahul Gandhi or the Congress party are anti-Hindu. He has been consistently trying to make the point, trying to draw a line between Hinduism and Hindutva. Hinduism, he wants to emphasize, is very different from Hindutva. Hindutva is all about majoritarianism. It's about muscular majoritarianism, while Hinduism is about inclusiveness, about accommodation, about allowing a thousand different flowers of a thousand different colors to bloom. Now, how much of conviction he carries with the electorate remains to be seen. But this is an effort in that direction. The Congress party used to be like that big banyan tree in which there were people right of center, left of center, centrist, etc., etc. And therefore, he wants to reposition that party. Whether he succeeds or not is a different story.
Okay.
But that's how I view that attempt.
Do you think, Professor Ragi, that there is an attempt by Rahul Gandhi to bring the Bharatiya Janata Party to the table for a debate on the tenets of Hinduism? That's why this accusation against the RSS has been a recurring one, like Mr. Ansari has also said, where he has time and again tried to differentiate between Hinduism as a religion and Hindutva, the political ideology that the BJP and the RSS follows, and in turn project the RSS as un-Hindu. Do you think that is what the attempt is?
I don't think that. Rahul Gandhi has the capacity to debate on Hinduism per se. I'm not going into that area. But why he has written this article? Look, the India partners, one after another, you go to Bihar, then the Education Minister, Swami Prasad Maurya. So India allies, even Mallikarjun Kharge's son, he was vomiting out diatribes against Hinduism and Sanatan Dharma. Now, Rahul Gandhi doesn't have the moral courage and the political courage to say to these allies that you please don't speak this kind of language because this will be politically damaging to the Congress party. You know, the Dravidian movement has been anti-Hindu movement to large scales. You must know that from 1976, almost 5 lakh kg ornaments of the Hindu temples have been confiscated. And they have been put under the monetization program, and 11 crores interest is...
Calling the Dravidian movement as anti-Hindu and then presenting the fact that Sanatan Dharma, where they accuse the Sanatan Dharma of not being pro-Dalits or pro-backward class, are two different aspects, Mr. Ragi.
What I'm saying, allow me to complete it. What I'm saying that politically that may be beneficial to Karunanidhi party and DMK, but anti-Hindu diatribes of DMK or Samajwadi party or RJD can be very damaging to the Congress party. And probably that is, since Rahul Gandhi doesn't carry that moral courage or the political courage to respond to the allies that what you are doing is wrong. So he is writing this article, number one. Second point I would like to add. What Rahul Gandhi has written is a beautiful thing, and I appreciate that Hinduism is one which is inclusive. But important point is that why you are not saying this thing to your allies, those who are partners of India, that they are abusive, you should not say so. Third point, Rahul Gandhi is forgetting that who is Sanatani, who Gandhi is Sanatani, who is Sanatani Hindu for a Gandhi. Gandhi is saying, जो पूजा पाठ करता है, जो मंदिर जाता है, जो उपवास करता है, जो टीका लगाता है, वो मेरे लिए सनातनी हिंदू नहीं है. Whether you protect the cow or you don't protect the cow. Protection of cow is the parameter on the basis of which Gandhi depicts whether somebody is a Sanatani or not a Sanatani. So let Rahul Gandhi define whether he is in favor of protection of cow or not, that he defend the cow, Sanatan of Gandhi. Last point which I want to make, that there are some political elements in this language also, because Rahul Gandhi is again talking about the fanaticism. So it is good that Rahul Gandhi has accepted that the Hinduism or Sanatan is exclusive, not exclusive, it is inclusive, it is eternal, something like that. The important is that this Hinduism is situated amidst the religion which are exclusivist in mindset. Those who are saying that there is the only one, the way of the Bible is the only way to, emancipation. Quran is the only way to emancipation. So, can Rahul Gandhi muster the courage to explain the exclusivity that is coming from the other religion
But
particularly
his
Islam
entire
and
op-ed
Christianity.
was primarily about the Hindu religion.
No.
And he was not attempting at trying to go ahead and
Rahul
talk
Gandhi,
about the diversity of
I
other
think,
religions.
I
We
think
will go to that
Rahul,
point.
I think Rahul
Wait,
Gandhi
let
must
Dolly
explain
Sharma,
also this part.
Oh, right. Let Dolly Sharma respond to the first and the one claim that has been part of this entire discourse. Dolly, the time that this op-ed was out, the accusation from the opposition was at the time when Rahul Gandhi has not said anything about the observations that the DMK and Udaynidhi Stalin had made on Sanatan Dharma. Why choose to go ahead and write an op-ed about Hinduism when he lacked the quote-unquote courage to question the DMK over its stance on Sanatan? What is the Congress's response, you think, about that?
I think you must ask this to Mr. Stalin only. Rahul Gandhi ji is stating what he believes about Hinduism, what Hinduism is all about. And here a political analyst was talking about...
No, but Dolly, is it even relevant to actually exclude yourself from the India bloc and say that Stalin must answer the question? It's part of the same alliance. And once the accusation is leveled at the India bloc, it will be inclusive of the Congress, of the AAP, of the DMK for that matter. How can you choose to stay away from that?
No, we are not staying away from anything. We are saying what we believe in. We believe in Hinduism. Yes, we believe in Hinduism. And Hinduism, which says Vasudev Kutumbakam, सबको साथ लेकर चलना, हर धर्म को साथ लेकर चलना, हर जाति को साथ लेकर चलना is what Congress believes in, is what Hinduism is all about. आप सबको साथ, सबका विकास, सबका ये तो लेकर चलते हैं और फिर बात ऐसी करते हैं कि बंटवारे की, लोगों को बांटने की, तोड़ने की. एक तरफ आप कुछ कहते हैं, एक तरफ आप कुछ कहते हैं.
No, but you're not answering the question I'm asking you, Dolly. I want to understand that Rahul Gandhi has primarily chosen to stay away when members of his own party, the Congress party, like Mr. Chidambaram, have supported the statements that have been made by Udaynidhi Stalin. That has not gone down well for the India bloc and in turn the Congress party. There have been varying opinions from within the party that have come about, and now Rahul Gandhi writes a piece on Hinduism. There are elections in Rajasthan to look at, there are elections in MP, Chhattisgarh to be looked at, Telangana to be looked at. Why do you think this is a misplaced posturing by the BJP? Because it is always aligned with elections in various states.
Visited Vaishno Devi, then there were no elections when Rahul Gandhi visited Kailash Mansarovar. BJP is nobody to question on Rahul Gandhi.
No, but you have to meet the Chinese officials there. That was the real purpose.
There are nobody to ask कि Rahul Gandhi क्या practice करेंगे.
I would want to respond to that.
All right, since you are not taking the Sanatan debate head on, Mr. Siddharth Yadav. Okay. Mr. Siddharth Yadav. All right, Dolly, all right. Got your point. Since you're not ready to take on that, you're saying Stalin must answer the question. Mr. Yadav wants to make a point. Mr. Yadav, while you go ahead and add to the point that Dolly is making and probably counter that, I'd also like to ask you, why does it pinch the BJP when the Congress says anything to do about Hinduism? Why should it be a BJP fiefdom? It's religion after all.
Absolutely, Griya. First, I'll respond to what Dolly ji was saying. We should go and ask Stalin. We should go and ask RJD, Education Minister, Bihar. We should go and ask Swami Prasad Maurya ji. We should also go and ask the son of your national president, Khadge ji, who said this is as good as a disease. We should go and ask the Tamil Nadu Congress chief who said that our alliance with DMK is to eradicate Sanatan Dharma. But we should not ask Rahul Gandhi because he'll not speak over it. Because he will only be a Hindu when the elections are approaching. This is pinching. It is not, we are not here. If Rahul Gandhi, we wanted from so many years to Rahul Gandhi to come out and openly say, yes, this is the... Now, Dolly ji, please don't interrupt. I cannot do it. Dolly ji, please listen. I'm responding to what Griha ji was asking.
Yes.
Griha ji, it is pinching because the change, the timing is very well visible. You can't on two occasions say two things. On one occasion you say that मंदिरों में नहीं जाना चाहिए, मंदिर में जाने वाले तो लड़कियों को छेड़ते हैं. Those are eve teasers. On one occasion you say, on 23rd September he said, that the MPs of this country are like murtis in a temple. They don't have any power, no Shakti. And suddenly you feel like a Kattar Hindu and you come out and say this. The change is very visible. Now, I don't know how the change is. It is from the Antony report. Okay, please, you keep on interrupting. There's no point. Let me complete my point. You keep on interrupting.
Dolly, can you wait your turn? I request you to wait your turn, Ms. Sharma. Yeah. Let's wait each other's turn. Yes, please complete your point, Mr. Yadav. I'll go to Dolly.
I'm completing. I'm completing.
Okay, all right. Dolly, please go ahead.
We can't have this. Now, Grihaji, it is very evident. The change is very much visible. From Hindu is Boko Haram, Hindu Atangwad. From this, it has come down to that Rahul ji has to now finally get articles written under his name.
No, but tell me one thing, Mr. Yadav, tell
him.
me one thing. While we also take in into account how this can be juxtaposed during the election time, where these statements have been made, and of course these conjectures and of course these parallels are going to be drawn, that why is it happening only during the poll season? But don't you think this can also be read as Rahul Gandhi's attempt as exposing the Bharatiya Janata Party RSS combined, that they are not the whole soul proprietors of the Hindu religion, and that also must be done during the election season, considering we are looking at states like Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, where the Hinduism plank really works, and that if at all has to be countered of the Bharatiya Janata parties, this sort of a narrative also needs to be set in by the opposition and the Congress party.
And absolutely, and that is why it is rightly to say that it is a narrative and nothing more. It is a narrative. We are not saying that we are the only the sole bearers of this. We invited our politics.
So that narrative point can also be made by the Congress party against the RSS. Mr. Ansari, I'd like your word on this. This entire accusation I will come back to you. I'll come back to you. This entire accusation by the BJP every time Rahul Gandhi says something about Hinduism is that he's a Chunavi Hindu. How justified is it really?
So if he's a Chunavi Hindu, how does it disturb them? Why, if he's that insignificant, why do they always rush their cabinet ministers to take him on? Yes, I do believe that Rahul Gandhi, even though Stalin said it, and not a member of the Congress party, yet Mr. Rahul Gandhi should clarify his position, just as the Prime Minister of India must clarify on where he stands about what a member of Parliament from his party, Mr. Biduri, said about Danish Ali on the floor of the House.
Yes.
He has been rewarded.
And
by
also
being put
Mr.
in charge
Udayban, the president of Congress, Haryana.
By being put in charge of a constituency in tow of the entire constituency. So the Prime Minister of India must also, I would like my Prime Minister also to come clean on whether or not does he endorse this, does he condemn it, or does he endorse what Mr. Biduru had to say about Danish Ali.
Okay, Mr. Yadav, let me actually quote from the op-ed that Rahul Gandhi has written, where he says that the person who has the courage to overcome her own fear so that she may observe the ocean truthfully is a Hindu, and not really pounce on people and set a narrative of hate. That also is the accusation that comes later by Rahul Gandhi's op-ed, where he's talking about what Hinduism really is and what a Hindu really is. This entire comment that Mr. Ansari has made on the accusations of Mr. Biduri, that also should be a part of the narrative. That has been something that has been doing the rounds. What happens is a rewarding of an MP who has that kind of a filth that he uttered in the seat of democracy. Nothing really was done about it, only some sort of a gimmick where we're taking action, we are looking at it, and we have, of course, questioned Mr. Biduri. If that is something that has been awarded and rewarded by the Bharatiya Janata Party, so whatever Rahul Gandhi is doing, pointing that accusatory finger shouldn't be considered wrong at all.
I'll just give a quick reply to both the things that you asked.
Yes.
First of all, it is not disputed what Rahul Gandhi has said. Not much disputed, I would say. The timing, the intent behind it is much disputed. But despite that, in the article he has written, Hindus are not victims. Kashmiri Pandits were not victims. Those who faced the brunt of 1,000 years of accession were not victims.
But here you are nitpicking on lines, Mr. Yadav. He's saying that is the only stance that is being presented by BJP RSS. At least that's how it is going to be read as. Just playing the victim card shouldn't be what a Hindu is. I think that is how
largely what he has said is not disputed. Largely what he has said is not disputed. It's fine, but the intent is definitely disputed.
Okay.
You can't have the change from a Boko Haram to the beautiful nature of Hinduism. We all know that.
Okay.
But coming from
Professor Raghi, what Mr. Yadav is talking about, I'll come back to you. Mr. Raghi is talking about how there have been very extreme statements that have been made by Rahul Gandhi in the past. And that obviously will be pulled up from the past and spoken about while he takes a spiritual stance on a religion like Hinduism. Your words, sir.
I would have accepted Rahul Gandhi article as credible,
Okay.
but you know, the Congress party is negotiating with Furfura Sharif, a radical Islamist in Bengal, on seat sharing. Who doesn't know about Imran Mashood, who said that chop off the heads of Narendra Modi into pieces, and he was rewarded by the Congress party by making him the vice president.
Are you saying the two wrongs make a right?
No, no, I'm not saying. I'm not at all. I'm not doing it at all.
Okay.
What I'm saying that when Rahul Gandhi talks about secularism, when Rahul Gandhi talks about you know, that he is pious, anti-hatred, this I'm saying that how Rahul Gandhi have supported these forces in the past and continues to support.
Okay.
Look, it is in the Karnataka election, several hundreds PFI workers, you know, were released from the jail. It is on record. It is Rahul Gandhi who says that Indian Union Muslim League is a secular party. The party which, you know, participated in the partition of this country.
Okay, I
who
got your point. I'm
injected the
really sorry on time, short on time, Mr. Ragi, but I'd like Dolly's word on this. Dolly, this is not leaving the Congress party. Since we're talking about the just one state of Karnataka, whether it is about giving a safe haven to PFI activists and now ban organization, or for that matter, having nothing has been said about Sanatan, what was claimed by the DMK, this narrative is not going to leave that. And that's why the selective approach towards religion, that criticism is something that the Congress party will have to feel. Quick point on that.
No, I don't agree with what Mr. Analyst is saying here. Supporting PFI during elections, recently we've seen BJP supporting PFI. So they should answer this, number one. And number two, they were talking about Kashmiri Pandits. Look at Kashmiri Pandits' condition now.
You can't go wrong on track on national television. We were the ones who banned PFI.
Not dead. What are you doing to them? And in those days also, you were
please
in power.
clarify, we were the ones
We are not talking exclusively about Kashmiri Pandits or PFI. Let us complete a point.
So you should answer about 90s too. You cannot ask anybody else. And now, Rahul Gandhi ji very clearly, very beautifully explaining Hinduism. What is the problem BJP is, you know, have with Rahul Gandhi?
That is going to go about in circles. I'd like to thank my guests for joining me. I'm really sorry. I'm very short on time. I'll have to wrap this. But every time Rahul Gandhi attempts at saying anything over Hinduism, the religion, this is the kind of political discourse that starts. How is he choosing to field it or not is going to be the big question as we look at elections in the 4 states and of course the general elections that come in 2024. With that, I'm slipping into a very short break, but coming up after this very short break on Plain Speed, amid traffic jam woes, Bengaluru has banned carpooling and netizens have slammed the Karnataka government over the move. We will tell you more about that after this very short break.
Brought to you by
Welcome back. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Griha. Now, you might remember Bengaluru's IT corridor gridlock on the 27th of September. This is a recurring affair in India's IT city, and bearing the brunt of these harrowing experiences while it comes to traffic every time is the common man or the common Bengalurian. And as if living with that grouse wasn't enough, now comes an announcement by the Karnataka government that allegedly bans carpooling using mobile application platforms in Bengaluru following complaints from taxi drivers. The Transport Department of Karnataka termed using whiteboard vehicles for commercial commute purposes as illegal and said that offenders may have their registration certificates suspended for up to 6 months and could be fined anywhere from 5,000 rupees to 10,000 rupees. The Transport Department maintains that carpooling apps are in violation of regulations by aggregating private cars which are not authorized for commercial use. Advocates of carpooling, though, argue that it is a highly effective solution for alleviating traffic congestion and reducing fuel consumption. With the number of vehicles on city roads exceeding 1.1 crores, the need for innovative solutions to reduce congestion is more pressing than ever before. So we wonder if this decision by the government in the state has come in a haste in order to avoid being pressured by Taxi Drivers Association, or they gave some serious thought to it. Let's first look at the clarification coming in the face of this aggressive response by Bengalurians, especially on social media. Let's take a look at what the Karnataka government has said as part of its clarification. Number one, it goes on to claim that there is no ban on carpooling, but there is a ban on carpooling apps. That means you can carpool if it is not meant for commercial purposes. Carpooling apps need to obtain proper permissions. They cannot go ahead and indulge in commercial activities if they are not authorized to do so. Then the other argument by the Karnataka government is that the use of whiteboard vehicles for carpooling is illegal. Need to be yellow number plates. Fine is only if anyone is found carpooling illegally. So that is the kind of clarification that has come in. So we are asking this evening on Plain Speak, in the midst of the Bengaluru traffic jam, the carpool announcement in Bengaluru, whether the Karnataka government has jumped the gun on the decision. We are also opening our call-in line so that you can call us, especially if you are from Bengaluru, and share your opinions about what do you think about the latest decision of the Karnataka government over the carpool ban. Let me now take this across before in fact we go to the guests, let's take a look at precisely what are the kind of voices that have come in as this announcement was made by the Karnataka government, and then we'll open this up to my guests.
Everybody should follow the rules and regulations. Carpooling, they are running in whiteboard.
Carpooling is the way forward. This is what is being advocated. This is what is being promoted. This is what needs to be encouraged. As a government, it reflects badly on the government as the government applied mind.
And joining me on the second debate on Plain Speak this evening is GS Prasanta of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Bhavya Narsimha Murthy of the Congress Party, and also with us is a prominent Bengalurian, Brinda Adige, also an activist. Brinda, I'll begin with you. Considering this concerns you and everybody who's living out of Bengaluru directly, what do you make of this decision? Do you think it has been done in a haste, or do you think the government in Karnataka has given every thought to it that's required?
This is a decision clearly done in haste. And like you pointed out in the beginning, it has been done because of the taxi and other yellow board drivers and their associations making a big noise about it. What is important that the Karnataka government has not realized is to reduce traffic on the streets. And if there are 4 friends getting together, or 4 acquaintances, or 4 people living in the same building or the vicinity, and sharing the money for the petrol and for if they are going outside, then the fast tag, how can you call that as commercial activity? On what lines do they call it as commercial activity if we are sharing? So it is time for the government to bring in share autos, or bring in something like this. They haven't thought about it. The public has thought about it. So why are they discouraging and punishing the public?
Okay. All right, some problem with Brinda's link, but I'm told that we have our first caller on the broadcast. So before I go to my other guest, Rajendra from Bengaluru is joining us on the broadcast. Rajendra, please go ahead and make your point. What do you think of this latest decision by the Karnataka government of banning white number plate carpooling?
No. Now the question is, how many percentage of carpooling is done? It is a minuscule. So now banning is not a solution, for the traffic jam.
Okay.
See, in Mumbai, in Pune, there are some places, where they have started, share autos, share taxis, They made it officially. You can see Pune, Bombay, there is a share taxi, you can go. And we should increase they should motivate the people to go use the alternative methods like metro and use the buses, that is BMTC buses. That means, the government should provide good infrastructure, good road, so that, people are motivated towards that public transport. Carpooling is a very minuscule. It is not going to solve the problem of this one, traffic jam.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Rajendra, for joining us. Bhavya, one of the callers says that this is not something that is going to be impacting the solution that we are looking at as far as the traffic jam condition in Bengaluru is concerned. This can, in fact, go ahead, as has been planned by the Karnataka government. But the other people who we have seen respond to this latest decision by the government in Karnataka through the course of the day, there have been very aggressive and opposing voices.
So, first thing first, we have not banned carpooling. One. If you remember, there were Uber Pool, those cars who are registered for commercial purpose, having yellow boards,
yes,
and even if they're using some app, they are not banned from carpooling. White boards, even if they're carpooling, say for example, some colleagues by themselves, speak together and carpool, that is not banned. Using these apps where whiteboard is used to carpooling is what is banned. Because if you remember, the same opposition, the ex-minister came and just spoke that we are against this thing and all. The same people spoke against our Shakti program. Our Shakti guarantee, which encouraged public transport, use of public transport, and was also applicable to the families of these taxi drivers and all. That day, the same opposition was worried about the families of these taxi drivers and their, and their lives and their earnings. But today, when we want to protect according to law and say that carpooling by the taxi services is allowed. What is not allowed is those people who have not bought the car for a commercial purpose but for the personal purpose and use it for commercial purpose.
Okay. Prashant, your response, considering the Bharatiya Janata Party was quick to jump the gun, there was an appeal that was made by Tejasvi Surya asking the government to actually roll back the decision. These intricate points that are necessarily needed to be looked upon, considering we are talking about whiteboard vehicles only, and like Bhavya rightly said, they have not been meant for commercial purposes. So why employ these vehicles as far as these carpooling apps are concerned and then charge for it? And that is what the government is trying to counter. So what is the problem?
Griha, the issue is not about regulations. If something needs to be done by regulations, by amending laws, they can very well do it. If it is in the interest of the people, they are not willing to do it. They are not willing to change laws which will positively impact the people.
Like
Look at what Congress is trying to do now.
Like what
Congress
kind of
is trying to say, this carpooling, which is being done by, say, for example, if I, you, Bhavya and Brinda are traveling from Malleshwaram to Electronic City daily, we do not know each other otherwise. We are using it through an app which connects all the four of us, and we take the commute in either my private vehicle or Bhavya's private vehicle. Probably the app may be charging some charges. You regulate them, bring them on record, tell the app you have to register, pay a particular fees or license fee to the government. But why do you want to stop a pro-people move? If People are coming together using their personal car. Nobody is making profit of it. Again, I reiterate the example. The four of us are going. We are sharing the fuel cost of one of our bears, which means it is reduced cost for everybody. It is reduced pollution, lower number of vehicles on the road. But Congress is not any of these things. They just want to ban the carpooling apps. Regulate them. Bring them under the law.
Okay.
Tell them you register.
Okay.
Provide
Fair point.
details of the users.
Fair point. We
They are not
also
ready to
have
do any
one
of
more
this.
caller. I'm really sorry, Prashant. We have one more caller. Srinivas from Bengaluru is also now joining us. Srinivas, your views on this carpool ban for wideboard vehicles in Bengaluru?
See, my point is very simple. If the Karnataka government wants to ban, right, this carpooling, right, I want to ask the same government, what are they doing for the app-based, operators, right? Whether it is Ola, Uber, they keep cancelling, right? Just because they don't like to commute, the drivers, they don't want to go. This is purely lobby. What's wrong in somebody using carpooling? Okay, you want to regularize it, come out with a plan. Don't simply ban it because you want to ban it because the app-based drivers or the taxi drivers are lobbying to the government and giving, some input. Now, what is the percentage of carpooling cars? How are they helping?
All right.
How
Thank
are
you
they
so
not
much for making
helping?
that point, Srinivas. I'm really sorry. I'd have to cut across to Mr. Anurag Thakur, who's currently speaking. Let's take a look at that.
दिखाता है कि केंद्र सरकार से कोई कमी पश्चिम बंगाल के विकास के लिए नहीं रखी गई। लेकिन ऐसा क्या हुआ कि ममता बनर्जी जी को अपने कुछ भ्रष्ट सांसद और कुछ ऐसे नेताओं को भेजना पड़ा जो भ्रष्टाचार जमीन पर चल रहा है, उसके ऊपर पश्चिम बंगाल में कार्रवाई नहीं हुई, लेकिन उस पर लीपापोती करने के लिए अपने कुछ नेताओं को यहां पर भेजा है। मैं थोड़ा सा विस्तार में इसके आपके बताना चाहूंगा। एक सेंट्रल टीम के द्वारा एक इंक्वायरी की गई 22 जनवरी 2019 से लेकर 24 जनवरी 2019 तक 2-3 दिन के लिए, और 6 ग्राम पंचायतों में 4 ब्लॉक जिसके आते हैं, ये बर्धमान पूर्व में हुई, और 7 ग्राम पंचायत और 3 ब्लॉक में हुगली डिस्ट्रिक्ट में हुई। यहां से 4 करोड़ 84 लाख की रिकवरी हुई। फिर एक और टीम का गठन किया गया, ये सेंट्रल टीम थी। फिर ये 13 सितंबर 2021 को गई और 17 सितंबर 2021 तक इसने इंक्वायरी की, और इसी तरह की इसकी ऑब्जर्वेशन एक बार फिर आई। अब इसमें क्या ऑब्जर्वेशन आई? बड़े काम को छोटे छोटे में बांट के इस तरह से खेल खेला गया कि नीचे तक जानकारी ना पहुंच पाए। फिर क्या था, जो एग्जिस्टिंग काम थे, जो काम हुए थे पहले, तालाब पहले था, सड़क पहले थी, उसी कोई नया काम दिखाकर महात्मा गांधी जी के नाम से जो योजना है उसमें भी घोटाला कर लिया ममता जी के यहां पे। आज गांधी जयंती पर बता रहा हूं, और गांधी जी की समाधि पर भतीजे को भेजा था, और देखिए कैसे समय जिस योजना पर इतना पैसा खाया गया, सड़क तालाब ये दिखाए गए जो कभी बने नहीं, जो पहले से ही थे, उसके नाम पर पैसे खा गए। मालदा डिस्ट्रिक्ट में छोटी नदियों से गाद निकालने के नाम पे पैसे खा गए, और जहां कंटीली तार लगानी या बाड़ लगाने की अनुमति नहीं होती वो भी काम इसमें करके अपने काम चलती है। फिर एक चाय बागान के लिए, ऐसे चाय बागानों के लिए रास्ते बनाने का काम, जहां के लिए प्राइवेट किसी कंपनी को आप ये लाभ नहीं दे सकते, आपने वहां पे लाभ दिया और अपनी जेब में पैसा डाला। फिर नदी के तटबंध करने के लिए, तटीयकरण के लिए काम तो दिखाया गया, रेत की थैलियां वहां पर पाई गई। ऐसे अनेकों काम जिनकी अनुमति नहीं थी वो इसमें दिखाए गए, और कैसे पैसों का हेरफेर हुआ, किसके खाते में गए, इसके ऊपर एक एक्शन टेकन रिपोर्ट केंद्र सरकार ने राज्य को कहा कि आप उचित कार्रवाई करें और केंद्र को जानकारी दें। और जो इंक्वायरी रिपोर्ट हमने दी थी 6 मार्च 2019 को, और राज्य सरकार ने 3 महीने के बाद 19 जून को उसके ऊपर अपनी एक रिपोर्ट दी। उसमें कुछ नहीं कहा, केवल ये कह दिया कि इसके ऊपर ये कदम उठाने चाहिए, कदम उठाए नहीं, उठाने की बात कही। हमने फिर कहा कि गैर इजाजत के जो काम हुए उसके ऊपर कार्रवाई कीजिए।
Right, that was Union Minister Anurag Thakur responding to all the charges by the TMC over allegations of not dispensing funds in the Manrega scheme, over which they are protesting in the national capital today and tomorrow. We're going back to my guest on the broadcast, Bhavya Narasimha Murthy. The point that Prashant JS was making earlier, why not incorporate that? Why keep it as a selective sort of a treatment in the name of what's legal, what's illegal? How does the Congress party choose to respond to that?
Mr. Prashant was pointing out, like, among these 4 panelists, what if we don't know each other? How are you going to ensure our safety? I don't think the apps will take the responsibility of anyone just, picking up people, and at least the Uber or whatever, they have their licenses.
No, but when it was allowed, was the safety point not in consideration then? And I'll go back to the question that I began asking you. Has this decision come in a haste because of which the Karnataka government had to come out with a clarification now?
No, because he said if the problem was with regulation, that we are giving reasons as regulation.
Who's stopping you?
Let her make a point. Prashant, please. Yes.
According to the law, nobody can use a whiteboard vehicle for earning purpose or commercial purpose.
Okay.
And that's the basic rule we are applying. And we are not stopping them from carpooling with each other. It's these apps which are making money using these whiteboard is what we are banning.
Okay.
One, to protect it, and the very word used by people saying taxi drivers are lobbying. The whole definition of lobbying is different. Here, to protect the interest of the weaker section is not called lobbying. The same opposition was worried about the same section of society, the taxi drivers and the auto drivers, when we wanted to show cause and affirmative action like Shakti Yojana. But then it's giving free
let's not deviate, Bhavya. Let's not get to Shakti Yojana now.
Okay, Prashant, we have to accommodate all the points that even the Congress party is making. That is also a fair point. I'd like to understand from you. You have given some fair bit of argument on what could have been done. But why politicize this issue? Considering the government has now come up with a clarification that this is not going ahead and banning private carpools, and in the face of legality, you cannot allow the whiteboard vehicles to ply and do that for commercial purposes. That's just not allowed. So that is what they are doing away with. What is the problem with that?
Griha, anything which is illegal, we are not supporting it. All that we're saying is anything which is pro people, any concerns, like Bhavya was saying, safety, regulate it, bring them on record, tell the apps to register, let them be licensed, let the government have database of the apps, let you have a dashboard of what's happening and who's the driver and all. See, you can have technology do wonders here.
Bhavya, do you think that the government will be accommodative of those points? Quick point, I have only 30 seconds on the show. Do you think these can be accommodated? And what would you do about the kind of furor that you're receiving, the backlash online? How do you deal with that?
The whole purpose of carpooling is to reduce the number of cars. But when there is a way of using taxis as pools, as carpools, why use these white taxis? What's the whole purpose of these apps?
Okay.
Right? There's no purpose of these apps connecting whiteboard and make money out of it. I don't think we should encourage this.
Griha, I repeat, it is not whiteboard vehicles. It is individuals coming together.
No, that clarification has come in, Prashant, and you have to give that to the Congress party. Unfortunately, I'm very short on time on the broadcast. I'd have to leave it at that. So I'd like to thank Bhavya, Prashant and Brinda Adige for joining me on the broadcast. And up next, it's a very special presentation that we have for you as my colleague Rahul Shivshankar now joins us in this August edition of Prime Time, and he's here to present some hard facts before you.
Viewers, very good evening. We're 6 months away from one of the most consequential elections in India's history. Make no mistake, the outcome of this election will decide the course of Bharat. This is because the contest is essentially a clash of narratives. Prime Minister Modi envisions the rise of an Indic India steeped in its Hindu ethos. The The Prime Minister believes that 1,000 years of settler colonization has created a class of Indians brainwashed into believing that its own culture was inferior. The BJP believes that it is essential to shed this colonial